Shabbat Shalom.
You know, I found you, I bet you went out to get a head start on the travels.
Huh?
I bet you got out here early just to get a head start on the travel, because I was, Tanner asked me to do the candles. I always feel like I'm doing something on the step. So I'm going to have to get up. I just want to ask, should I light the candles as I'm saying? Let's go.
Okay.
So does this mean you can be without it at times?
Yeah.
On top of it?
Yeah.
How's it?
It's okay. I mean, I can be without the crutches sometimes because I recovered like for the last few days.
So, how'd that feel? Studying?
Feels okay. Yeah. I'm studying that. Just like, have to be careful about how much I do with this. It tires out, but one of the things it'll be easier.
Yeah, when Gracie said I'm not welcome to crutches, and then it seemed like yes, the next day there was a couple weeks ago, she said, no flowers. So you have good grasp, which is good. Good. Huh? 2 weeks ago, let's see her. She's excited because they're looking at maybe a storm path before the snow. It's been a couple of years, I think. Awesome. Yeah, she's a good blind, so that's awesome. And if there was a good weather, we had that happen here. And we've had, since almost Halloween, no winter. That's a weird day. I have snow and then I have it. Usually that's the same. Flowers.
It's coming. It's haven't come yet.
That's probably, but it's blood winters. It's almost scary. The coffee is really good. Anyway, thank you. Oh, yes.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
It's so great to be here with everyone and to see your smiling faces to celebrate Shabbat together this evening and with those who are with us online as well. And we will begin our service this evening with Shalom Aleichem, which can be found on page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Ni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And we turn to pages 3 and 2. It's a joy to welcome up Ben Marins as we light our Shabbat candles this evening. And to bring light into our Shabbat, it's a joy that you bring so much light to our community. So I'd love for you to light our candles this evening to begin Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'chadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
We sing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
Shabbat shalom.
We turn now in our prayer books to page 16, as we'll read together. Sing praise to Adonai with the lyre and melodious song, with trumpets and the blast of the horn. Raise a shout before Adonai the ruler. Let the sea and all within it thunder, the world and its inhabitants. Let the rivers clap their hands, the mountains sing joyously together at the presence of Adonai. For God is coming to rule the earth. God will rule the world justly and its peoples with equity. We turn to these words of Lecha Dodi, welcoming in the Shabbat bride. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we get to verse 9, we'll rise and turn towards the entrance of the sanctuary to welcome in the Shabbat bride on page 20. And we'll bow and then turn back around and then be seated after that verse.
Lecha dodi likerat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likerat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad ishmianu el ha'meyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem ultiferet v'litehila. Lecha dodi likerat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likerat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor habracha merosh mikedem mesucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha dodi likerat kala b'nei Shabbat nekavela. התעוררי, כי באורי קומי אורי, אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, וכדודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לכדודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לכדודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לכדודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We turn to page 27 and read responsively. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair.
Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways.
We continue with Chatzi Kaddish on page 26.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכו בית ישראל. בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה. בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבנך ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא ויאמרו Amen.
We continue at the bottom of page 27. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. We rise for our call to worship the Baruch Hu on page 28.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
We continue with Ma'ariv Aravim, the prayer thanking God for bringing on the evening, for putting the moon and the stars in their course in the sky on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chochma poteach she'arim, uvit vuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo. El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. We turn to page 32 for Ahavat Olam, singing of God's everlasting love for the people of Israel.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu lemadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu B'shokveinu u'vekumeinu Nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki Chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negeh yomam v'layla ve'yahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch Ata Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
We continue with the watchword of our faith, the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated. We continue with Ve'ahavta on page 36. We'll read together. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments, and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai, your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet. We turn to page 39. We'll read together these words just before we sing Mi Chamocha, the song that our ancestors sang as they crossed the other side of the Sea of Reeds into freedom. Together on 39, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. We turn to page 40 for Mi Chamocha.
Mi Chamocha Bailim Adonai, Mi Kamocha Nehedar Bakodesh, Nora Tehilot, אוספנה, נורא תהילות אוספנה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זלי, זלי, ענו ואמרו. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כיבדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
We turn to page 43 for Hashkivenu. This is a prayer our ancestors traditionally recited at nighttime, a time of deep uncertainty and fear for them. They worried that they might be torn apart in their sleep in olden times, sleeping out in the open. And so we do not have those exact same fears or concerns, but nighttime is a time that we might also experience uncertainty or doubt or fear. And we pray the same prayer that our ancestors prayed, praying for God to provide us with guidance to get us through the night, to provide a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace over all of us. We read together at the top of page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei Sukkot Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim. And we turn to page 44 for Vishamru.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
On the eve of our beginning the book of Exodus, we'll read together at the top of page 45. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable, without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We turn to page 46 for the tefillah, the center of our service this evening, and we rise for Adonai Sifatai.
Adonai Sifatai tiftach ufi agite hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el hagadol hagibor v'hanora el elyon gomel chasadim tovim v'konei hakol v'zocher chastei avot v'imahot umevi geula lihivnei v'nehem lema'an shemo be'ahava melech ozer umoshia umagen Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah Rab lehoshia. Mashiv haruach umorid hagashem. Mechalkel chaim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofech olim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamolcha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, melech memit, umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata lehachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. We turn to page 55 to read at the top, "May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabat." And for Ritzei, we turn to page 57. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ba'amcha Yisrael, u'tefilatam ba'ahava tekabel, u'tehi l'ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. We read together, "Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands. You are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha b'yir'ah na'avod." And this evening, we've been the last couple of weeks taking a different tack with our Hoda'ah prayer, our prayer of thanksgiving, and offering those things that we are grateful for in the past week. If there is something that you are grateful for that you'd like to share with our community, I invite you to share it aloud, and then we'll say together, "Modim anachnu lach." Happy to have her sister-in-law with her. Thank you, Felice. Modim anachnu lach. Happy to see their new Shin tonight, the Gossman family. Modim anachnu lach. Happy to be here in community for the yard site of their dear one, Amos Seltzer. Modim anachnu lach. I'm happy to be here. Oh, there's one more. Did I see one? Yeah. Happy to study for her bat mitzvah. Woo, we love to hear it. Modim anachnu lach. And on that note,
That was awesome.
We will turn to our prayer for peace, Shalom Rav, which can be found on page 60.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
With those words of shalom, of peace echoing in our minds, we turn our attention to a different kind of the root shalom, wishing for healing, a refuah shlema, complete healing for those in our community who are in need of healing of body, healing of soul, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf. We think of these dear members of our community, Shandol Bat Frida Malka, Julie Borikoff, Margot Raz, Carol Dubin, Steve Teplinsky, Esther Cohen, Lisa Furstad, Hachazan Sarah Rachel Bat Yocheved Ba'Alexander, Avram Ben Naftali, Sophia Rubenstein, Ilana Himmelfarb, Marla Jakowski, Michael Sychek, David Rotter, Natalie Cohen, Keith Mandel, Ela Bat Natan Vashoshana, Mark Cook, Dr. Susie Mendelson, Michaela Helen Berg, Michal Stroud, Susan Garrison, Ron Slavin, Peter Rotter, Roger Cook, Neil Pinsky, Layla Rosen, David Kleinman, Al Rosman, Wendy Schuster, Ann Becker, Kathy Baker, Hope Marins, Janet Van Zyl, Ann Katz, Mosi Ramirez, Diane Redman, Mark Ackerman, Ruth Resnick, Ronald Barmazel, Jeff Zemmel, Carolyn Newman, Devora Leah, Yocheved Sarah Leah, Kelly Adiniak, Richard Kransberg, Ricky Spiegel, Benjamin Mark Hirsch, Carol Rort, Wendy Pollock, Terry Hammond, Aviva Bat Arya Ve'ahuva, Eli Bensman, and Bernie Plotkin. we turn to page 253 for these words of Misha Berach of healing.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Mikor HaBracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha La'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We take a moment now for Tfilat Halev, the prayers in your heart.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, וגיון ליבי לפניך, Adonai Tzuri V'Goli. Oh, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, ve'imeru,
Shabbat Shalom. I want to offer a poem, a story, written by a rabbi of mine, someone I look up to, Rabbi Jen Gubitz. It's called Self-Awareness Sets Us Free. I've never been good with words, he said. I wouldn't know what to say. I wouldn't know how to say it. I wouldn't even know who to say it to. I've just never been good with words. The anxiety swelled up in Moses' chest. Who am I to be the one that must speak? I've never been good with words. I'm a man of actions, not speech. Come on, there are scores of midrash stories about my lisp. Everyone knows that I have a speech impediment because I ate hot coals as a baby. Clearly, God knows I can't do this. I am slow of speech, slow of tongue. I've never been good with words. It was ostensibly a new year in Egypt, a new chapter, a new book, with a new Pharaoh who knew not Joseph. We find ourselves on the banks of a river. We catch a glimpse of a baby boy put into a basket, raised up in the Pharaoh's palace. We watch him discover his people. We see his first attempt at responding to injustice. We see him flee into the desert. We see him see a burning bush. We are privileged to see the journey that is Moses' maturation, but we don't hear much from him. He was never good with words. But what he does say speaks volumes. Hineni, he answers God at the thorn bush, brightly burning. Here I am. I am present. I am listening. I am witnessing this moment, God. Hineni, here I am. And then, Mi anochi, who am I, he asks God. Who am I to go to the Pharaoh, a moment of humility or a moment of low self-confidence? Vehen lo ya'aminu li, velo yishma'u b'koli. What if they do not believe me? What if they do not listen to me? As if to say, why should they believe me? Why should they listen to me? And finally, Adonai lo ish dvarim anochi. God, I've never been good with words. Ki chvad peh uchvad lashon anochi. I am slow of speech and slow of tongue. Moses, a reluctant prophet, they all are at first. Here I am, he says, but who am I? Will they believe me? Will they listen to me? I've never been good with words. Beyond reluctance, however, Moses is a model of self-awareness. He knows his shortcomings. He states them openly. He stands before God unadorned, slight of speech, of few words, declaring over and over his humanity. It was this vulnerability upon which Moses and God developed over time a relationship that created a safe space for terms of engagement, declarative acts of commitment, accountability, and deep promises. Each layer of their relationship was fraught with raw emotion. At times, God was furious. At times, God was loving and protective. And Moses, in all his humanity, was, well, human. He made mistakes. Moses struck the rock. He was angry. And again, he was human. He mourned losses. He was persistent. And together, Moses and God shared disappointments and joy. What would it look like to say to another, I've never been good with words, or I've never been good at whatever it is you've never been good at? What would it mean to share with another these shortcomings? What would our relationships look like if we shared with one another our anxieties, our fears, our pain? What would our connections feel like if we shared our successes, our growth, our moments of pride? Richer, I'm sure. Therapeutic, perhaps. Fraught with emotion and vulnerability, of course. Fulfilling? Absolutely. When we are aware of our growing edges or shortcomings or weaknesses, when we are conscious of how they play out in our daily life, and when we name them, and perhaps share them with trusted others, we, like Moses, learn to navigate difficult paths. We learn to sing new songs, even if we think we sing them off-key. We learn to say new things we never would have said before, even if we've never been good with words. And so it is for Moses, our sweet son of Israel, who with his slow tongue, humble reticence, but trust in God, who so feared his inability to communicate. So it is with Moses, who had never been good with words, his inability to give voice, who was so aware of who might hear him and how they might hear him. So it is for Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our teacher, who says 3 of the most important words ever uttered in the story of the Jewish people: Shalach et ami, let my people go. From Moshe Rabbeinu, we learn that self-awareness literally sets us free. Throughout our lives, we experience times when speaking is difficult. We might wonder if we are worthy messengers to deliver important words, if our words will be well received. All we can do is speak our truths and hope that they resonate with others. This Shabbat, I invite you to get out of your head enough to listen to your heart. Open your mouth to speak or sing, put pen to paper to write from the deep recesses of your soul. Connect with loved ones, be creative, however you can, let go a little bit, and just be who you are. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with Aleinu on page 282. It's an honor to call up Jim and Judy Silberman to open our ark doors as we rise for Aleinu. Page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Shabbat Shalom.
You may be seated. At this time, we turn to page 200. Oh, I apologize. I am so used to the way we typically do services. We have added in a prayer for the state of Israel. If you will please rise on page 259. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
אבינו שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו, ברך את מדינת ישראל, ראשית צמיחת גאולתנו. הגן עליה, בברד חסדך, ושלוס עליה, סוכת שלומך, ושלח אורך וחמיתך, לראשיה, שריה ויוצאיה, ותקנם בעצה טובה מלפניך. אבינו שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו, ברך את מדינת ישראל, ראשית צמיחת גאולתנו.
You may be seated. At this time in our service, we turn our thoughts to those who are no longer with us. And though they are no longer of this physical earth, we hold them in our hearts and in our minds. They guide us each and every day. We commemorate the lives of this dear member of our community during the period of Shiva, Mark Sumner, and those during the period of Shloshim of Joyce Altman, Phil Dembski, Umi Druck, Rabbi David Ellenson, Shirley Goldman Herzog, Eileen Hirsch, Jamie Kryman, Cantor Judith Ovadia, Robert Piersdorf, and Howard Pollack, and those whose deaths occur at this time in years past. We commemorate the lives of Jenny Arnovitz, William John Backman, Julia Michal Barlev, Arthur Blumenthal, Myra Barry Brown, Perlan Bruskin, Lester M. Cohen, Minnie Marcus Cook, B. Dubin, Joseph Dubin, Daniel Ducour, Morton Friedland, Harry Gordon, Eileen Gossman, Melody Ann Green, Grace Hyman, Carol Jamrun, Doris Laddish, Eileen Yvette Linetsky, David Lipschultz, Esther Lubar, Max Maines, Ray Marks, Frank D. Matras, Anna Mayerson, Benjamin Meisenberg, Jeanette Miller, Yetta Eisen-Ullman, Sam Pash, Goldie Pinsky, Louis Powerstein, Ethel Rabinovitz, Chana Recht, Anthony Tony Richmond, Kate Romanek, Evelyn Rosen, Jordan Rosengarten, Pearl Rubin, Evelyn Sable, Amos Seltzer, Jerry Schlensky, Selma Schlensky, Norman Solomon, Louis Stern, Sarah T. Stern, Milton Turner, Morris Ugent, Donna Wickman, Ethel Williams, Gary Willis, and Louis Zitzer. If there are loved ones whom you are thinking of whose name should be pronounced differently than I did, or who you would like to add to those that we've said already, please feel free to share them as my eyes meet yours. In addition to those loved ones we hold dear in our hearts, we also think of those who perished during the Holocaust, as well as those who have died due to acts of war and terror around our globe, especially right now in Israel and Gaza. We also think of those who have died due to the virus of racism and xenophobia, as well as those who no longer have someone to say Kaddish for them. We turn to these sacred words of Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found on page 294, and we rise as a community. Yit gadal vid kadash shemei rabbah, ba'alma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uvyomechon uchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'almei almaya, yit barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'it hadar, v'it aleh, v'it halal, shmei dekudasha barichu. Le'ela minkol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. And together we say, amen. You may be seated. At this time, we turn from the care of those loved ones who are no longer with us to the care of our synagogue, of our community, and I'd like to share with you some of the events that we have going on, some announcements. Tomorrow night is adult trivia night. At 7 p.m. there will be trivia, snacks, and fun. We're looking forward to it. And this Sunday, the 7th, is our first Sunday back for religious school. And at 9:30 a.m., we'll welcome religious school families to come enjoy a pancake breakfast that's generously sponsored by Women of Shalom in Clearfield Hall. And Temple for Toddlers is also that day at 10 a.m. in the chapel. Family Shabbat with 4th grade participation is coming up next weekend, January 12th, at 6:45 p.m., where our 4th graders and youth choir will help lead us in worship, with oneg to follow. On Sunday, January 14th, Voices for Justice will hold a Sunday forum for Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. Join us at 10 a.m. in Samson Sanctuary to hear our confirmation class share personal reflections on their experience on the civil rights journey with Tzedek America in the South. That same Sunday, we have a 1st through 3rd grade youth event at Rock and Jump. And it will be at 1 p.m. with parent transportation, so please RSVP by January 9th. January, not February. And the next weekend on Saturday, January 20th, we have movie night for young families starting at 5 p.m. Join us for Havdalah at 5, dinner, and then followed by the movie Toy Story. And please RSVP for that as well, so that we know how much to feed you. Always the food. It's never a Jewish event without food. And another exciting thing we have coming up is Shabbat Shirah, which is January 26th at 6 p.m. Celebrate Shabbat Shirah, our Shabbat of song, with special guest Grammy Award winner cantor Doug Kotler and our very own cantors Perper and Steinsnyder and the Shalom Adult Choir. It should be a great evening of song. Anything to add?
Followed by an oneg.
Also followed by a yummy oneg.
Yeah, we need to know that.
And please RSVP for the oneg, so we have enough yummy treats. On Sunday, January 28th, after religious school, our 4th through 6th graders will have a youth event with First Stage. Join us for an afternoon of drama, fun, and improv games, including lunch from 11:30 to 1, and please register online by January 23rd. On February 2nd through the 3rd will be our 6th and 7th grade Shabbaton up at Osrui. If your child is in 6th or 7th grade, we invite you to join us for this Shabbaton on Friday, February 2nd, leaving Shalom at 4:15 p.m. and returning at 6 p.m. on Saturday evening. It will be a blast. Roger, I know you went last year and hope we'll see you again this year. And if you have any questions, please reach out to myself or Brian Abner, RSVP online by January 15th. And last but certainly not least, join us for Shabbat morning Torah study tomorrow at 9 a.m., followed by services at 10 a.m. and in the chapel and a community luncheon to follow. Shabbat Shalom.
That was a mouthful, Rabbi.
Yes.
That was good.
We have a lot of great things going on at our congregation.
Amen.
And at this time, if you will rise as we begin to conclude our service on page 5 with Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lemase v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, זכר יציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen.
לחיים. Yeah.
And we will conclude our service this evening on page 341 with Lo Yisa Goy. Nation shall not take up sword against nation. They shall never again study war.
לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.